Hello and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I'm a part of the new season, New Technique Hop. So let's jump right in. So I did choose to make some ATCs for this, and I wanted to do that because I have all of the distress inks, and I have never used them to make a background, and I don't know why. I always go to my oxides. I never use my inks for that. So I really wanted to kind of do a little comparison and try out that technique because I'd never done it. So I have a couple of pieces of Canson watercolor paper here, and I've cut them down to the 2.5 by 3.5 inch size because that is what you need for an ATC, which is an artist trading card. And I'm going to do the same three colors in oxide and in ink because it's kind of going to be a comparison, so I can kind of see why I always go to oxides or if I just do that out of habit. So it's kind of going to be an interesting test, I guess. So I have Tumbled Glass, Mermaid Lagoon, and Chipped Sapphire in both ink and distress oxide. And I'm just going to lay a wash of the color down directly onto the background and then spray it with my distress sprayer and kind of clean up any of the ink that's sopped off the edges there. Now this hop, there's a lot of great creators in here, so make sure you go and check them all out. I will have the next person in the hop linked and listed down in my description box below, and make sure to check it out. There will be prizes and giveaways along on the hop. Anybody who's giving one away will tell you about it in their video, so make sure to listen closely to whatever they have to say. And yeah, so make sure you check it out. And there is a hashtag as well that you can click on to go and see all of the whole lineup. But make sure you check out the person next in the hop, which will be in my description top. It'll be the top one in the description down below. So I am going to do a second layer of color. So you see that I let them dry, and then I brought in the same colors and kind of laid them on top. And now I'm going to add some glitter because I can't refuse. This is just some Perfect Pearls mixed up in a little mini mister bottle, and then I'm just flicking it onto the background to add some shine. I'll show you how pretty that looks in the end. You can't really see it here, sadly, but I just really wanted to add some shine to the background. So I have this super adorable turtle stamp. This is from Brutus Monroe. It was one of their monthly stamps a little while ago. I don't think you can get it anymore, but this would work well with any little stamp that you have. ATCs are perfect size for that. So that's kind of one of the things I love to do. I like to take my little stamps and create fun ATCs and then trade them with other artists. I think that's a really cool way to kind of share art with other people. So I did stamp it out a few times because it is a brand new stamp, and I'm going to flip over my cardstock because I want 2 of them. And I am stamping it in a Copic Safe Friendly ink. This is the Gink K amalgam ink, and I'm also stamping on Neenah 80 pound solar white cardstock. But any Copic friendly ink or safe paper would work for this. These are just the ones I happen to have on hand. And then I am going to Copic color these. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my process, but this is quite sped up. I didn't want the video to be too crazy long just because Copic coloring does take, well, any coloring does take a little while. So I've brought in G12, G16, and G19. That's what I'm going to use on the big turtle. And then on the little turtle, I also brought in G02. So it's the same color families, like they're all going to be the greens, but for the little turtle, I brought in one lighter color. And then for the older, like the bigger turtle, I brought in just one darker color. So on the little turtle, I'm going to use G02, G12, and G16. And on the big turtle, I'm going to use G12, G16, and G19. I hope that kind of makes sense. It's just one more color added into the family. I'm only going to use 3 colors on each turtle. And when I Copic color, I like to lay a wash of my lightest color down and then do a mid-tone and then the darkest tone, and then I work backwards. I go back to the mid-tone and then I go back into the lightest tone. That's just kind of how I work. There's no wrong way to color. You could absolutely do this without adding a whole bunch of shading and shadowing. That's just kind of my preferred way to do it. And for the starfish, which you just saw me color on the little turtle's back, I used YR16 and YR09. Excuse me, I wanted it to be orange. I thought that would look really pretty with the color combo that I'm kind of going with here because I am doing mostly blues and greens as the background is blue. When I bring in the colors for the shell, it will bring in some more of the orangey tones, but that's kind of just my preferred color palette. I mean, you could have colored these turtles purple. You could literally do anything, and I think this would look super adorable. So it's really up to you. And then I am going to bring in later a V04 for the eyes. I brought in a little bit of purple just for the eyes. I thought that was pretty cute with the color palette I had going on. And when I Copic color, I like to lay my darkest color wherever the shading and shadowing would be. The artists are usually really good at telling you where that is. So it's usually pretty easy to kind of figure out where to add the darkest color in an image. But I don't think there's any wrong way to color. I think it's really based on your preference and how you're comfortable and what medium you're using. And in this instance, I am using markers, but you don't have to. You could absolutely have colored this with watercolors, or, there's so many ways to have colored this and it would have come out stunning regardless. And then for the shell, I used YR21, YR12, and Y38. So it is kind of an orangey yellow kind of color. I'm going to hold these up in the end so you guys can see them a bit better, but I did the shell on the little turtle and the big turtle the exact same. And I am going to fussy cut these out, just so you know. I know a lot of people don't enjoy fussy cutting. There's no problem with that. I don't mind it. This was a pretty easy shape to fussy cut, so it wasn't too bad, but here you're going to see I'm just going to cut them out from that piece of cardstock, and then I'm going to fussy cut it. So I find the easiest way to fussy cut is to hold it in whatever hand your non-dominant hand is. So in this case, I hold the image in my left hand and I cut with my right hand. And I only really move the paper. I don't really move the scissors. You kind of move it with your hand and then trim with your dominant hand without kind of turning the scissors all over. I find you get a smoother cut that way. I hope that kind of makes sense. I have a tendency to leave a white border on my images. I like how that looks. You don't have to by any means. You could cut it up close. Or if you maybe have a scan and cut, you could get that to cut it for you. I don't own one of those, and I don't really mind fussy cutting. I don't think that it is too difficult, so I just kind of do it this way. But there's no wrong way to make it. I think that it would turn out stunning regardless. So yeah, and then we're going to jump right into adding some little, I think these are the 3D dimensionals, I think these ones were, but anything you have, of foam tape or foam squares or anything you have to add some dimension behind the turtle would look really pretty. And here I'm just going to pull off all the backing and then I'm going to stick them down. So do make sure you go and check out everybody in the hop. I think that there's going to be some really interesting new techniques in these videos that'll be a lot of fun to watch. And make sure you leave the girls, or anybody who's in here, a like and a comment. Subscribe to the channels if you aren't already and you find what they make interesting. I have new videos every Monday, and then I join in on hops now and then when I get to. So it's a lot of fun to see what everybody creates, and it's a lot of fun. And I'd love to have you if you're interested in being a part of my channel. So I did bring in some, these are just clear droplets, and I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe glue. This is just a glue that dries clear and matte, so it'll look really good after it dries. I mean, right now you can kind of see the white under the bubble. You won't be able to see that once it's dry. And I just added the 3 because I like uneven numbers. And I'm going to hold it up so you can see the background. So tell me which one you like. This one is the Distress Inks that I'm holding up right now, and this one is the Distress Oxide inks. So I'd love to know which background you like better. I find that the Oxide one is a bit smoother, but the Distress Ink one is a bit more vibrant, so it's going to be personal preference. And that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I cannot wait to see you again. Bye-bye.